Let's fast forward a couple of years, because one of the biggest podcasts you ever done was with Andrew Tate, yeah? I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, but well done, bro. That was absolutely unreal how you managed to get him on. Yeah, I remember when I told you about this. Yeah, bro, I thought you were trolling me at first when you told me. Like, I've seen him on TikTok all the time. Next thing you know, my brother's telling me that he's going to get Andrew Tate on the podcast. I'm thinking this is ultimate cap. And I've never really actually sat down and asked you the question, but how did you actually get the top G on the podcast? Because he was he probably still is, the most famous man on the internet. Bro, so at the time, he wasn't the most famous man. Yeah, he is now, don't get me wrong. But at the time, he had like 200,000 followers on Instagram, which is still a lot, but it wasn't like 4.1 million, which is what he had by the time I had done that podcast, yeah? So I was like, you know, let me just shoot my shot. Everyone's saying Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate, Andrew Tate, yeah? And I was like, all right, cool. I know who he is, but I didn't know how big it would be for the platform. So then I just shot a shot, man. I just emailed him. I literally found his email and I just sent him an email saying, hey, bro, you know, got this podcast, would love to do a podcast with you, etc. He replied 3 hours later saying, and this was, by the way, I emailed him at 3 a.m. He replied at 6 a.m. saying, yep, just send me your channel over, send me the stats and we can get it done. I remember when I emailed him, I didn't sleep. And I remember I was probably pissing you off all night as well because I didn't sleep at all. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And then so, yeah, he replied at 6 a.m. saying, yeah, send your stats, everything. So I sent him a couple of the podcasts. I sent him the lean one that I'd done in the time. I sent Chronos one and I sent the channel. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, oh my God, Andrew Tate confirmed for the podcast. And I remember waking you up, yeah, because you were about to go to sleep. I remember waking you up saying, yo, listen, Khalid, Andrew Tate is coming on the podcast right now. It's mad. And so I was going to initially fly to Romania for that podcast, but seeing that he bounces around so many times, it was just like, when is it going to actually happen sort of thing. And then just so happens that I was on Instagram one day. This is like a week after that whole email conversation, yeah? Hold on, wait. Before you got him on the podcast, what was the most extreme thing you were willing to do to get him on the podcast? Because I remember you were throwing out all sorts of ideas to me. As I said, I was going to fly to Romania. I was going to fly anywhere in the world to meet his requirements and make it easiest for him. Because I know that he bounces around from location to location, country to country. I was going to go to whichever country he was in. So what would you do if he sent you some coordinates and it's the middle of nowhere? Bro, you know I would have gone. You know I would have gone. That's the reason why my whole podcast is portable. I can do it in a forest if I wanted to. And is that one of the reasons why you haven't got your studio yet? Yeah, because I do like the portability factor and being able to go anywhere. Because I feel like the other half of it is you get to showcase someone's business in their environment and do a podcast in their environment. And it makes it easier for the entrepreneur because you got to think about busy people, you know, might not have the time of day to come to London and do a podcast there. Everyone's busy. Do you know what I'm saying? So I make it the easiest I can for the guests by going to their locations so they don't have to take too much out of their time of their busy day to do this podcast. But let's be real, look, a lot of your competitors have big studios, big sets, big boy productions. Do you feel like you're at a disadvantage? You know, I've been going through this question recently of whether I need a studio or not. And there's definitely, it's a double-edged sword because it definitely will take the production to the next level and set a standard and set the bar for Ceocast. But at the same time, I feel like the whole podcast was built on the USP of me traveling, and every single podcast you watch is always in a different location. And it looks sick because no two podcasts are ever the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, true say. I agree with that. Like, but yeah, going back to Andrew Tate, yeah, he said, you know, we'll do it in Romania. So I was like, yeah, cool, we'll do it there. And then a week later from that email conversation, I saw Snapchat, remember you were with me, and not Snapchat, Instagram story, and he was on the M40 in the UK. And we know what the M40 looks like because everyone knows that motorway is notorious for, you know, no cameras. Everyone knows what that M40 looks like. Mexico City, exactly that. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I was like, yo, M40, he's in the UK right now. So I emailed him again. I was like, yo, listen, I see you're in the UK. Do you want to do it like while you're here? He's like, cool, let's do it tomorrow. This was at like 6 p.m. at night. Yeah. And I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? I ain't got a location. I ain't got anything. I ain't got trim. I ain't got nothing like that. So that was the most stressful point of Ceocast, to organize a location. I know it sounds like something like first world problem, but I have to get my trim sorted. Yeah. I had to get so many different things sorted within about a 4-hour period to send him saying, this is where we're doing the podcast, this time, etc. Make sure you turn up. So I didn't say make sure you turn up to Andrew Tate. That would have been a bit mad. But he turned up, credit to him, you know, got everything sorted. Shout out to SW Lounge because they hosted us there. We're on very short notice. Shout out to my barber because he came to my yard to cut my hair. And that was crazy, man. You know, everyone always asks me and you because everyone thinks that I'm you. They always ask, how's the top G in person? So how was he? He's a sick guy, man. You know, you were there as well. And I know, but I'm just asking you for the viewer's sake. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but he's just a normal guy. Like, you know, online, he's just this character of being the top G, which he is still a G, don't get me wrong, but he's still very chilled out. You can have a conversation with him all day long about anything. He talks exactly like how we're talking right now. Very intellectual guy. He's a sick guy, man. He's not just what everyone claims to be, this guy online who's a misogynist and this and that, whatever crap people are feeding into, you know, the media are feeding into him about him. I feel a lot of dislikes coming in the comments right now. Yeah, but what can I say? I've met the guy. I can only judge someone for meeting them. You know, how can you judge someone for their online persona? You can't. You have to meet someone. Someone might be a total asshole online, but then you meet them and they're completely different. They're like, just normal. Would you say you're different how you are in real life and how you are on the podcast?